Okay, we're ready to go.
Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Beautiful day out there, isn't it? Thank you all for joining us for the first Kids Town Hall. I want to introduce a couple of people to you, if that's okay. One, I want to introduce my friend Kayden. Kayden, give everybody a wave. I don't know if they can see us or not. Yeah, good job, Kayden. Awesome. So Kayden is going to help us this morning by reading some of the questions that you all have submitted. So thank you for that. I also want to introduce you to my friend Karen. Karen is standing just a little bit behind me. Can you see Karen? I hope so. So Karen is an interpreter for folks who are hearing impaired. So she's doing sign language so that anyone who's watching today or in the future, since this is recorded, will be able to know what we're talking about, even if they can't hear us. So thank you, Karen. Thank you, Kayden. Really appreciate this. I do hope everybody's doing well at home. Are you missing your friends? I bet you are. Yeah, Kayden's missing his friends. You know, when you first were able to stay home from school, it was probably kind of fun, sort of like a snow day. But now I bet you are kind of wishing that you were able to go back to school, I'm going to guess. You all know about the coronavirus. I know your parents have told you about that. And it's a virus where you get a really bad cold sometimes, but it's much worse than a regular cold, which I know that you've all had. And you can get very sick from the coronavirus. And that's why we closed schools, and your schools are all closed, I know. And that's why we've closed most of the businesses. Really, the only businesses that are open now are grocery stores and gas stations. You know, because of course you have to buy food, right? And you've got to buy gas to be able to get to the grocery store. So I know that it's probably hard to stay home now. I just want to ask you, are you all doing your homework? Yeah, you all doing your homework? I hope so, because of course, even though you don't have to go to school, it's important that you keep up with your reading and with your math and your science. So thank you. Give a little extra effort to that homework if you can. So I don't know, I think it's probably about time to go to your questions. I know you guys have worked hard on your questions. And is it time to go to questions, Kayden? Kayden, you want to ask me the first question?
Yes.
Okay, terrific.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. The first question that we got from a lot of students, including kindergartners, Adu and Jaden, when will the coronavirus go away?
You know, Abdu and Jaden, that is a great question. I hope you're both watching. We don't know the answer to that. It may be a little while before it goes away entirely, or before we have effective medicine for it, which, you know, the scientists and the hospitals, they are all working on trying to develop an effective medicine so that for someone who does get the coronavirus, that they can get well or get better quicker. But right now we don't know, but here's what we do know. All of you who have been staying home, your parents, maybe some of your parents are staying home, maybe some of your parents are having to go to work because they're essential workers. But I hope that if you go outside, I hope you're all wearing masks. This is my mask right here. Have a couple of others. So I hope that you're wearing masks if you are going to the Walgreens or the drugstore or something. Kayden, you got your mask? Perfect. Good mask. Good mask. All right, there we go. So I hope you are, because that will help to protect you from getting the coronavirus, but it'll also help to protect other people. And I know you don't want to get sick, and I know you don't want other people to get sick either. So we don't know exactly when it will go away. But thank you for staying 6 feet apart. Thank you for washing your hands all the time. You know, you got to wash your hands for 20 seconds. And they tell me if you, when you're washing your hands with soap and warm water, if you can, you should sing happy birthday to yourself 2 times. And that'll be about 20 seconds. So give that a try if you haven't already. All right, Kayden, you have another question for me?
Mayor, a lot of students are also asking, how long will we have to be quarantined?
Oh, you students are so smart. You know, we have to stay at home for a couple more weeks and only leave for essential things like going to the grocery store. We don't know the exact date, but even after we're able to go out and do a few more things, we're going to need to stay 6 feet apart. We're going to need to try to quit touching our face, you know, because your hands touch different surfaces, desks, you know, equipment. Your hands touch things. And then when you touch your hands to your face, then it can get in your body through your mouth, or like if you put your fingers in your mouth maybe, or in your nose, some of those kinds of things. So you want to try to avoid that. How long? A couple more weeks, but even after that, got to be careful and wash your hands and stay 6 feet apart.
Go ahead.
Kayden, you got another one?
And this question is from Tamia, a 5th grader at Humboldt Academy. If the coronavirus and you guys tell people that we are free to go anywhere now, how do we still know that we are free? Because I know that tons of people would still be scared to go outside or be around people.
You know, Tamia, that is a really good question. And it's a serious question, because even when we do open restaurants again or open workplaces, the best thing that you can do, I mean, you know, even when you go back to school, which we expect will be maybe in August, that you would go back to school, you want to continue to practice this social distancing and stay 6 feet apart. And if you do that, and if you can keep your hands away from your face and wash your hands a lot, you will greatly reduce the chance that you'll get corona. I don't think that you have to be scared to death, but I think you need to be careful and cautious. And especially because, you know, you may have brothers and sisters, you might have moms and dads, grandpas and grandmas, aunts and uncles, other people that you're around. And so you just want to be careful not to expose anyone else.
Okay.
Kayden?
Yeah, this question is from Luke, a 4th grader at Mason Elementary School. On May 3rd, after Missouri is supposed to open back up, will we be able to hold big events and not have to social distancing?
No, Mason, it's not Mason, it's Luke from Mason Elementary. That's a good question, but no, Missouri, St. Louis and St. Louis County are not going to reopen on May the 3rd or May the 4th. We're going to have a couple more weeks of that. But even after we do reopen, you're not going to be able to have big events. You're still going to need to have small social gatherings. You're still going to need to do social distancing. And that's going to go on for a while. And you guys see how hard it is not to touch your face, right? You see I had a little itch right there, and I'm touching my own face. So when I'm done here, I'm going to go wash my hands again, because it's very hard not to touch your face. So anyway, no, we're going to still have to have those precautions, Luke. And thank you. I love hearing from Mason Elementary.
Mayor, here's a question from
Ellis,
a 3rd grader at New City School. What should we do if we see someone not social distancing? Ellis said that not everybody follows rules, but then it could spread to those people who are following the rules.
Ellis, that's a really good question. You know, I think we have to be very friendly about that. We don't want to yell at people who aren't following the rules. We don't want to get mad at them. What we want to do is nicely remind them and lead by example. You know that when one person's doing the right thing, then other people often will lead by example. And it's hard to remember all these rules, and it's hard to do it all the time. So I think you just have to, in a friendly way, maybe if your friends are all in a little group, I think you have to say, hey guys, back up, let's socially distance. I think, you know, you need to make a routine about washing your hands. When you get back to school, or, you know, you're all in there doing it. So be gentle with people, but give them a friendly reminder.
Mayor, this question is from John, a second grader at Premier Charter School. My birthday will be July 2nd. Is any chance for me to celebrate my birthday with my friends, because I really miss them?
Wow, John. Thank you for the question, and an early happy birthday to you. I bet there's a lot of kids on this who have a birthday between now and this summer. So early happy birthday to all of you. I think by July 2nd, you may be able to have a small birthday party, as long as you all can socially distance and stay apart. I think you'll be able to do some celebrating with your friends by July the 2nd. And I also want to go back and say, I don't think I said to Ellis at New City School, thank you for that question. Some of you know that I live across the street from New City School, so always appreciate your questions too.
Okay, go.
Mayor, there are some good questions about schools, like this one from Lee, a third grader at City Academy. How long should my e-learning day go?
Oh boy, Ellie. You know, I think that's up to your parents. Try to get through all of the e-learning lessons that your teachers and your school are sending you. You know, maybe you do a little in the morning and have a break, and maybe do a little more, because, you know, it's really important to continue to do your lessons. So do them as long as it takes for you to get through them.
Hold on. All right, go.
Charter, a second grader from Gateway Science Academy, asks, will we start back at real school after summer like normal? And will we have to wear a mask to school?
I think that you will start back to real school after the summer. Whether or not you'll have to wear a mask by then, I don't know. I think it depends on what happens. I hope not, but if you do, then I hope you'll do that. So we'll see. We'll see if you have to wear a mask or not. But I do think you'll be able to start to real school after the summer.
All right, go.
Mayor, some students are worried about their math standardized Missouri placement testing tests that they did not get to take in their grades. For this school year, what can you say to students worried about their grades?
Well, that sounds like it might be a question from a parent. But the MAP testing has been canceled for this year. But you know what? Grades are very important, and MAP testing is very important. But the most important thing is what you learn. It's not about the grade you get, it's what you learn and how well you do, and whether or not you're doing your personal best every single day. So as long as you are doing your personal best, you're putting in the time you need to do your lessons, then I'm going to guess you're learning, and that's the most important thing. Do your personal best.
Mayor, there are also some questions about the virus. Danielle, a fifth grader from St. Louis Language Immersion School, asked, does COVID-19 have a pattern to who it infects people? If so, then what's the pattern?
So COVID-19 is more serious in older people, like maybe people your grandparents' age. Part of that is because sometimes older people have other health issues, but COVID can affect people at any age, whether you're a child. Not too many kids are getting it, thankfully. So not too many, but you certainly can get it as a child. And you can get it if you're in your 20s or your 30s. Maybe some of your moms and dads are in their 20s and 30s or 40s. So you can get it then. But it's more serious the older you are.
Mayor, here is another question from Kaylee, a second grader at West Ridge Elementary. If we have already known what the coronavirus looks like, how come we can't make the medicine yet?
So the coronavirus, it's called COVID-19, standing for Coronavirus 2019, which was when it was discovered last year. The coronavirus is new, and every medicine has a very specific illness that it's targeted at. So the scientists at Washington University, St. Louis University, our hospitals, at hospitals really around the whole country, those scientists are working very hard right now to come up with a medicine that can help either improve the illness if you get it, or that can prevent you from getting it. That's called a vaccine. Most of you, hopefully all of you, get your vaccinations before you go to school, and that's to prevent you from getting some specific illnesses. And hopefully they will have one for COVID-19 also. But the scientists didn't know about COVID-19 till just a few months ago. And so they're working really hard and as fast as they can to come up with medicine.
Mayor, here's a question from Hafsa, a fifth grader at Al Salam Day School. I'm feeling dull staying at home. We have a big holiday coming up called Eid. What's a safe way that we can celebrate it and have fun without staying stuck at home?
Well, Hafsa, thank you for that question. You know, I think there's some adults that are feeling dull also, or maybe bored. But I bet you've got a great imagination, and I bet you're a really creative person. So use that imagination and your creativity to figure out how you can celebrate at home. Maybe you can do some artwork to celebrate. Maybe you can do a dance, make up a song. Maybe you can write letters to other people in your family who might not be able to be there. If you wrote a letter or a card and mailed it to someone in your family that might not be able to be at your celebration, I assure you they would be so happy to get mail from you. So think about doing some of those kinds of things. Don't feel dull and bored. Challenge yourself every day to say, what could I do today that would be fun, that would be creative, and that might help somebody else who's stuck at home. And I think writing them a little letter or a card would be a terrific idea.
Here's a question from Margot, a third grader at Mason Elementary. How are you keeping people safe who get around on public transportation?
Well, thank you, Margot. That's a great question too. Another good question from Mason Elementary. So on public transportation, meaning buses or Metrolink that people take to get to work or to get to school or get to the grocery store, you should wear a mask. You should sit apart from one another, which is a little bit easier on most of the buses today because there aren't as many people going to work. And again, you should, if you have a wipe or a paper towel, maybe even with just some Clorox spray on it, 409. But if you have a sanitary wipe down the seat, and there's a little bar sometimes, that you hang on to, wipe that down. Maybe wear gloves. But if you wear gloves, then you have to be sure that when you take them off, that you take them off and be sure to put them in a trash can. So I think, same way that you keep yourself safe if you're at the grocery store. Be far apart, wash your hands, wear gloves, wear a mask, don't touch your face.
Lorena, 5th grader from Mason Elementary, asks, how are people who can't afford food getting food?
Soren, that is a great question. So there are quite a few social service agencies that are providing food to people, food boxes to people who who don't have enough money for food. And that's such a serious situation. There are also 35 locations around the city of St. Louis where kids 18 and under can also go there and get a grab and go bag for lunch and breakfast. And I'm sure that there's one in your area as well. You don't need any ID. It's completely free. And I think it's very helpful because we want everybody to have enough food. And maybe for those of you who have enough food and can do it, donate food to a food bank, or maybe your church is collecting food. There are a lot of folks so that can get distributed out to other people. So you can help, but if you need food, be sure to let your parents know, be sure to let an adult know that so that they can help you find ways to get food.
There you go.
Mayor, here is a question for you from Bandit, a 3rd grader at New City School. Is it safe to play in a big park like Forest Park without a face mask?
It is safe to play outside without a face mask if you're not around any other people. So in your yard, maybe if you have a yard, that would be fine. If you're in Forest Park and it's not crowded, and you can be sure that you can be playing by yourself or maybe with your brother or sister without a mask, that would be okay. But it's best to have your mask with you because you never know how crowded the park is going to be. And you all know that playgrounds are closed right now. And I'm very sorry that we had to close the playgrounds. But they're not safe because too many kids playing on them, the germs can sometimes live on that playground equipment. So that's why we closed playgrounds. But, play with your brothers or sisters if you have any, and play by yourself, do some cartwheels, figure out, I bet you guys can probably already all do cartwheels by now, right? Or do some forward rolls, or burn your energy off just playing around, being sure that you're socially distanced. Can you all do cartwheels? I was never very good at that, but I bet you guys are.
And we have a question from Cameron, a 5th grader at Shenandoah Valley Elementary. Should we consider social distancing and wearing face mask, or new normal for the rest of our lives?
So, Cameron, that is a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I think there are some changes that may be in place with us, at least for a long time. For example, I bet your parents have all taught you how to shake hands with people, right? When you meet a new person, they taught you stick out your right hand and give them a nice firm handshake. I think that's something that we probably won't be doing for quite a while. You guys know about when you greet people, do you know about the chicken wing? I don't know if you know. It's like this. I call it a chicken wing. You bump elbows with someone. I think there are some things that will stay with us for a while, and shaking hands is one of those things that I doubt if we go back to doing that anytime too soon. Face masks, I don't know. I hope we get to a point in the not too distant future where we don't feel we need to wear face masks. And whether or not it would be for the rest of our lives, I doubt it, because our scientists that we have in this country and in this city are really good. And I think they're going to come up with ways for us not to get the coronavirus.
Okay.
Mayor, we have had many questions about parks, playgrounds, and sports. When do you think we can play with our friends again?
Well, in parks, stay apart, but go practice your cartwheels or your forward rolls. Playgrounds, I think that's a little ways off. Maybe by the time you go back to school, maybe before that, but I think playgrounds are a little ways off. And sports, I don't know if you know what, baseball, gymnastics, maybe, basketball, soccer. I think that's a little ways off. I hope that we're able to do that by the time you go back to school.
Mayor, here is a question for you from Damien, a fourth grader at Premier Charter School. Miss Mayor, we are just only humans. What are your feelings about the virus?
Oh gosh, Damien, that is a really good question. You know, you're right. We're just humans. We all have lots of feelings. And while I don't want you to be scared of the virus, but I do want you to be careful and I want you to be cautious. The virus is like something that we've never seen in this country. Well, in your lifetime for sure, not even in my lifetime. I mean, I'm very much older than you guys are, and we've never seen anything like this before. And so it makes us worried, maybe. It makes us a little aggravated that we can't go to school, we can't go to work. Makes us worried about our other family members. So I know that you all are taking this very seriously, but know also that the adults, the scientists, your teachers, your parents, the adults are all working very hard on this. And you guys can help us by just being, following along, doing the things that you're supposed to do, doing your homework, doing your e-learning, helping out your parents around the house, maybe learning how to do a few chores. I bet you all have chores, don't you? Nobody likes doing chores, but you know, figuring out how you can help out and be a good team member, a good family member, and then look to the adults who are all working very hard on this. And the adults in your life and the adults in this country are, they're on it. They're on it. So do your part, help out, follow the rules, write cards to some of your friends, and don't worry too much.
The last question is from Robbie, a first grader who is homeschooled. What is it like being the mayor of St. Louis?
Oh, Robbie, thank you for that question. You know, being the mayor of St. Louis is the best job ever. It really is. Sometimes it's a hard job, but mostly it's the best job ever because you get to help people pretty much every day. And you try to make the very best decisions that you can that are good for the people that you represent. Try to listen to people because, you know, I don't have all the good ideas. You guys have good ideas too. And your moms and dads and aunts and uncles and grandpas and grandmas, they all have good ideas. So being the mayor is really a big privilege and a very fun job.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Is that our last question, Kayden?
Yes.
All right, let's all give Kayden a huge round of applause for doing such a great job. Thank you, Kayden. And let's give all of you who are watching at home a big round of applause too. Thank you for watching. It's so much fun to talk with you all. I wish I could see everybody on this, what are we on here, Zoom or Facebook or something. I wish that I could see all of you. I hope that you're all doing well. And I know that you're all going to do everything you can to help out your own families, keep yourself safe. and follow all the rules. Social distancing, you remember this? How many times, what do you do when you're washing your hands to know, Kayden, if you've washed your hands long enough? What's one way?
The roll your boat.
Happy birthday 2 times. The happy birthday song. So anyway, thank you guys. Have a fun. It's a beautiful day out there today. Get out there if you can and, blow off a little energy. Pretend like it's recess at school and have a fun day and do your homework. Thanks all.
Bye.